It reads like a bad script for a B-movie. Humanity is taken over by a satanic cult. Everyone must secretly pledge allegiance to this cult if they want to advance. Members are compromised and blackmailed to ensure loyalty. Although this cult's monuments and symbols are everywhere, no one dares to mention its name or challenge its dominance. Murphy's Law is true. If it can go wrong, it will. For humanity, it has. Western civilization itself has been subverted by this cult. The so-called Enlightenment represents a rejection of man and God. A tiny clique of Kabbalist bankers, the Illuminati, have supplanted God, the natural and moral laws of the universe, in the specious name of humanism, reason, progress. Henceforth, they will determine what is healthy and natural. For example, homosexuality, promiscuity, pedophilia, and incest. Today, humanity is firmly in their satanic grip and sinking deeper into a coma. The ship of civilization is sinking beneath the waves whilst the passengers are asleep. To use another nautical metaphor, we're up a creek without a paddle. The Illuminati bankers manipulated events to destroy the institutions of Christian civilization, religion, God, race, nation, and family, and induct humanity into their cult. This is the New World Order. They instigated and financed wars to destroy the nations, and then hyped the authors that spread alienation and disillusionment. They hold humanity prisoner by their mind control. It's no coincidence that the mass media is controlled by a handful of corporations with occult logos. The subversion of humanity by this tiny cult and their allies is the suppressed true history of the modern world. This is the only real conflict. Illuminati versus humanity. The others have been staged as diversions. Despite all the evidence, we are in denial. We don't really believe in this conspiracy. It's like learning we have terminal cancer. We don't want to know. The mass media keep telling us that our democratic and cultural institutions are sound and responsible. We prefer to believe that. We suffer from a cognitive dissonance. The conspiracy is real, and it's much worse than we think. Powerful people have lived and breathed this plot for centuries. They have erected a vicious police state behind the facade of democratic government and liberty. The charade of fighting terror is a pretext to imprison the general population. The protocols have been realized. The Illuminati want to own and control everyone. They want to be God. They contrived all the revolutions, the world wars, the Cold War, Korea, Vietnam, the JFK assassination, 9/11, Iraq and Afghanistan, and the war on terror. Today, they are busy stealing Gaddafi's wealth. They prefer puppets to bloated national bosses. They are responsible for engineering women to fear and distrust men, better to divide and conquer. They are responsible for the sexual liberation, enslavement, which reduces all human relationships to a cheap ejaculation. They use sex to systematically degrade us, to make us their cattle. We are free in a limited individual sense, thank God, but collectively we are being farmed. If they really cared about freedom, they would empower us. They'd teach civic values, patriotism and history. They'd foster strong male-female relationships, marriage and families. Instead, they sabotage us. Educational and cultural standards are lowered. Their entertainment spews occultism and gruesome apocalyptic visions. Humanity suffers a form of arrested development. We are in a trance. Sequels and remakes. Nothing new or true. We're not going to make our intended rendezvous with our Creator. What to do? A conspiracy requires secrecy and darkness to thrive. We can eradicate it simply by shining the light of truth on it. We must expose its participants and their foul deeds, starting with 911. Our leaders and mass media are traitors, guilty of complicity in mass murder and cover-up. The first job of a government is to ensure that it isn't taken over by a satanic cult. Our governments have failed. They have no legitimacy. The Illuminati needs legitimacy to function. We can take that away. We need to reveal the truth to as many people as possible. We need to help their dupes see the true common enemy. We are a tiny sliver of the population, but as the Illuminati tyranny becomes more onerous, many more people will seek the explanations. We must resist peacefully. Anything else plays into their hand. But we should be armed and prepared to defend ourselves. In my view, the widespread ownership of guns is the main reason Americans are still relatively free. Civilization is based on spiritual absolutes like the truth, justice, and love, which they systematically undermine. They are destroying civilization. Let it not be said, we slept and didn't even notice.
When you're ready to rise up, you'll rise up. All the power you need is in your hands. Now look around you. Our financial systems have been hijacked by a generation of thieves. While you're working harder and harder for less and less, the game is being rigged against you. They're turning all of us into virtual slaves. Looters, at the heart of our financial system, are price-fixing our most precious resources. Food, water, energy, gold, even the value of money itself is being siphoned away by high-level crooks in a giant mushrooming conspiracy of unstoppable corruption. They're robbing billions of people of trillions of dollars a year, folks. There is no need for austerity measures. There is no need for financial suffering, no need for poverty. There is no scarcity. We are simply the victims of a robbery of unimaginable proportions. We have been fed a lie so vast it oppresses all of humanity. The truth is, there is more than enough to go around. 60 years ago, productivity was increasing so fast, they predicted by today, entire families could live comfortably on the income of just one provider, working only 10 hours a week. They wondered what we'd do with all of our spare time. What happened to that dream? Turns out they were right. What took a full work week back then can be done in just 10 hours today. We have technologies that multiply our efforts 1,000-fold and connect us in ways they never imagined. We are now 100 times richer than in that great heyday of the 50s. We are heirs to a great bounty of prosperity, $70 trillion in the US alone, over $200,000 for every man, woman, and child. The only reason we don't experience this wealth is because it's being siphoned away by a corrupt criminal class. They loot through giant corporations, raising prices, lowering wages, stealing the fruits of our productivity. Where once whole families prospered with just one provider, now both parents work, delivering 8 times the productivity but struggling to make ends meet. They control the media using hot-button social issues to divide us, brother against brother, so we fight each other while they loot our sacred institutions. They make us fear too big to fail banks collapsing, but if they did, we'd suddenly recover the 8 times our income that's being siphoned away every single day. Don't give yourselves to these crooks who abuse you and enslave you, who steal your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel. Let us burn these leeches off our backs. Let us replace their corrupt systems with better systems that benefit everyone. Let us reclaim the fruits of our productivity. Let us share our prosperity. We can do this now. We are the creators, and when we come together, we have the power to create whatever future we want.